No realms available. They're still doing maintenance? Fuck. What about classic? Man, I wanted to play my fucking red and boomy. Wonder if there is a Uber UI for vanilla. No, not that lucky.
Now what?
I can't guess that yet.
Never felt so good.
In charge.
You're still here doing this. You were here yesterday doing this.
Now what?
That spell isn't ready yet.
This is so insane.
Let's get this party started.
I can't cast that yet. I don't have to. I'm out of range. That spell isn't ready yet. I'm ready to use it. It's still recharging. I need a target. I can't cast that yet. I don't have a target.
Let's get this party started.
That spell isn't ready yet. I need a target.
Superb collecting adventure. Ah, nothing like the smell of fresh blood in the foothills. Now we'll mix in a touch of this and a little of that and let the real fun begin. What I have created with this blood, I like to call an elixir of pain. If my calculations are correct, this concoction could be the start of something very beautiful for Lady Sylvana. But what we need is a test. Take this elixir out to the northern farm in Hillsbrad Fields to the southwest. Let's see how Farmer Ray's little dog Stanley likes this treat.
At ease, adventurer. I see you have returned from battle. My sources tell me you performed well on the Hillsbrad front.
Word of the attack on the northern farms has the townsfolk panicked. Most excellent. Our Deathstalkers report peasants fleeing to the fields in southern Hillsbrad. The fools think they can hide in the orchards and escape their doom.
Prove them wrong, adventurer. Return to Hillsbrad Fields and seek out the cowering peasants. Lay waste to them in the name of our Dark Lady. Dismissed.
I hear you were enlisted by Darthalia to wage war on the humans of Hillsbrad. So jealous I am. While you're off having all the fun, slaying humans, pillaging the town, terrorizing innocent people, I'm stuck standing guard here in Tarran Mill. Perhaps you'll take pity on an old death guard like myself. You see, I am collecting human skulls, and you will be fighting humans for quite some time. Over the course of your long battle, bring me 30 skulls, and I will make it worth your while.
Where would you like to fly to?
I can level up my enchanting now, technically.
know enough to be dangerous, but you still look like you need training to be adventurer. For the Horde!
Want to make your demons more powerful? It'll cost you, but you've come to the right place.
Trust no one.
Don't touch what you can't afford.
How may I be of service? Watch your back.
Watch your back. A mage on you? Counter mages.
You're in trouble now.
Charging.
Man, I need water. Need food and water.
Rest your weary bones for a spell.
Trust no one. I don't have a target. I need a target. I don't have a target. I need a target.
You got it.
I don't have a target. I need a target. I don't have a target. I need a target.
That's gonna be coil. It's gonna be Hallowed Terror. It's gonna be kick. That's life cap. This is gonna be Dark Pact. I want to test this out actually.
I can't cast that yet. I'm still recharging.
Damn. Not bad. Oh shit. Oh shit. Bro. Bro. Hunter. Behind. Get him. Get him.
That spell's ready yet.
Your gear is kind of booty. What's your spec?
I can't pass that yet. I'm still recharging. It's too far away. That spell's ready yet. I need a target. It's still recharging. That spell's ready yet. I don't have a
Let's get this party started.
I can't pass that yet. I need a target. That spell's ready yet. I don't have a target. I need a target. Pass that yet. I don't have a target. I'm still recharging. I need a target.
Let's get this party started.
That spell isn't ready yet. I don't have a target. It's still recharging. I don't have a target.
Let's have some fun.
I can't pass that yet. too far away. I don't have a target.
Wow, I just found a 10 slot bag randomly. That's pretty fucking sick.
I'm still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet.
I could do SFK again. Is it worth it though? Not really.
I'm still recharging. Turn the favor.
Couldn't resist. Let's get this party started.
That spell isn't ready yet. I need a target. recharging. I need a target. That spell isn't ready yet. I don't have a target. I can't cast that yet. I need a target.
Let's get this party started.
It's still recharging. I don't have a target. I need a target. I can't cast that yet. I don't have a target. I need a target. It's still recharging. I don't have a target. That spell isn't ready yet. I need a target. I can't cast that yet. I don't have a target. It's still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast that yet. I need a target.
Being bad never felt so good.
That spell isn't ready yet. I don't have a target. It's still recharging. I can't cast that yet. I need a target. That spell isn't ready yet. I don't have a target.
Party started.
I need a target. It's still recharging. I don't have a spell isn't ready yet. It's still recharging.
Never been so.
I need a target. I can't cast that yet. I don't have a target. I need a target. I don't have a target. That spell isn't ready yet. I need a target. I don't have a target. It's still recharging. I need a target. I can't cast that yet.
Let's get this party started.
I don't have a target. I need a target. I don't have a target. It's still recharging. I need a target. I don't have a target. I need a target. It's too far away. That spell isn't ready yet. I don't have a target. I need a target.
Never been so.
I can't cast that yet. It's still recharging. I don't have a target. That spell isn't ready yet. I need a target. I don't have a target. I need a target. I don't have a target. I
Let's
can't
get this
cast that
party
yet.
started.
I need a target. I don't have a target. That spell isn't ready yet.
Never Perfect.
I need a target. It's still recharging. I don't have a target. I need a target. I'm out of range. I can't cast that yet. I don't have a target. I need a target. That spell isn't ready yet. I don't have a target. I need a target. It's still recharging. I don't have a target. That
Let's
spell
get
isn't
this
ready
party
yet.
started.
I can't cast that yet. I need a target. I don't have a target. It's still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet. It's still recharging. I can't cast that yet. I don't have a target. That spell isn't ready yet. I need a target. I don't have a target. I need a target. It's still recharging. I don't have a target. I need a target.
Dude, I'm hungry.
The grip of death is tightening around the town of Hillsbrad. The battle goes well.
The humans of Hillsbrad have been putting up unexpected resistance. The problem appears to be that the townsfolk are being armed by the local blacksmith. We need to shut down all supply lines. Your mission will be to execute Blacksmith Varrington. Slay his apprentices as well. While
Alright.
there, bring back a shipment of iron from their stockpile. The supplies will come in handy when we are done with the conquering of Hillsbrad and begin raising South Shore.
What now?
Alright, let's get some food. listening. I'm just.
What do they call it, Generac or whatever?
I have
So
no
if your
idea.
power went off, it would automatically come on.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about, but it sounds cool.
That's always been my dream. To have a Generac. Yeah. And it's got a salt pump. And it's got a 250-gallon tank on the property. Another gas. All the houses have 150 gas stove. I don't know what. Unless it says on it, also gas tank. So, like, that. I didn't know I got the last. I gotta look and see if they got a truck yet for Sam. I tried to do a order last night, and they out of on. We've been out of our phosphorus here.
classes that have hit close are just going to die. For speeds, they're pretty good. It's kind of the same story. They're just all around a very good class. They're going to have Pixel Pull, and then with the Fireball enchantment,
Diablo 4 Thursday.
All enchantment, they're going to be able to blow everything up. It's going to work very, very well. Are they going to be faster than something like a rogue? No, but they will do very, very well here. It's going to be very comfy farming on a speed farming on a sorcerer. In the end game, we have them at 4. There's going to be some builds that emerge for a sorcerer that just end up being really good once they're properly theory crafted. On paper, mathematically, ball lightning looks really good. Fireball is kind of meh. Eye shards could be really good. Chain lightning could make an appearance. Things like that. Firewall could be really good. So all of these are candidates, which could be very, very great builds in the end game. Some of them are going to be theory crafted. There's going to be enchantment slot combinations, which are going to get it done. Again, the thing that the sorcerer has for its advantage when it gets really hard to survive is they fight at range. So once they do that, they should be able to get through everything. For groups, they're pretty good. They bring a ton of crowd control, and they bring the Fireball enchantment, which currently works if your other group members kill, which is explosion to hit for 50% of Fireball's damage, which is very, very good at clearing out the trash. So always want a sorcerer there if you can pick one up. For casuals, I think a sorcerer with just about nothing feels good for several reasons. The teleport feels really good. You're always at range, so casuals are gonna win fights on a sorcerer they would lose with other classes. And a lot of their skills actually work. A lot of the generators are okay, although Arc Lash is the best. If you pick Chain Lightning or you pick Ice Shards, it's gonna work fine. I think sorcerers, again, because they're more balanced, are gonna feel better for a casual that doesn't really know what they're doing. Overall, I would put them in 3rd. Their best builds are Chain Lightning, mostly for leveling. Firewall, Ice Shards, and probably Ball Lightning is looking really good for the endgame. Season 1, as we talked about, like to see some of their Frost skills buffed, especially Frozen Orb, and their Conjurations as well after they crucified Hydra. Coming in 2nd, it's Mr. 17 DPS himself, the Druid. And the Druid is kind of in the same spot that they've always been in. They're very, very weak leveling up and probably for speed farming, even though we are seeing some very nice theory crafted builds emerge like Trample Slide and Pulverize. But they're going to excel in the end game, and I think they're going to be able to stay alive, and they're going to pump out a ton of damage. Thanks to whoever's designing it has given them a lot of good legendary powers and synergies between them, which is going to propel them in the end game. For leveling, it's the same story as always. Druids, vanilla druids, have a very, very rough time. Some of the best powers that you could get, like the Pulverized Shockwave and the Tornado Seeks enemies, they aren't a part of the Codex of Power. So you're just at the mercy of what drops. If one of those powers drops for you, then all of a sudden you're just destroying if you know how to properly respec to it. But just as a vanilla druid going through, it's a bit rough. You're going to have to farm quite a few Codex of Power legendaries, or switch to World Tier 1 to get through it comfortably. For speeds, druids will absolutely have the damage. It really just comes down to speed itself. Trample Slide won't be too bad. You just use Trample to run across the screen and throw landslides. That's not bad. The problem is sometimes you're going to have to go back to loot, and that's not fun. Pulverize will do great with the Shockwave, and that's going to be one of their best speed farming builds. But again, it's the movement in between that is nowhere near as good as like a Sorcerer's Teleport, or let's say a Rogue with the double dash. In the end game, they're going to do incredible. The Pulverized build is going to absolutely smash. Trample Slide will be good. Tornado will be good. Maybe Shred will be good. We'll have to see. They're definitely going to clear the end game, and they're probably going to do it a lot easier than most of the classes. In groups, they're extremely desired. They have some incredible buffs. They can apply 70% damage reduction or reduced damage from enemies, and they can give you their Cyclone armor, which also mitigates against physical damage and things like that. So druids are going to be one of the ultimate classes to keep you alive, and they're just going to hit really hard. You absolutely want one in your group. For casuals, again, the vanilla druid experience, if you're not following a build guide and you don't know what to do and you just pick some random skills, it's just not going to work. It's not going to feel good. Kind of the same thing in the end game. They come online when you connect all the right builds and legendary powers together. I don't think a casual not watching a guide is going to be able to put it together very well, and that's probably going to put them in dead last. But overall, I put them in number 2 mostly because of their ability in the end game and in group play. Once a druid does come online, they are going to destroy everything. It's what all the signs are pointing to. Their best launch builds are Pulverize, Trample, Slide, Tornado, maybe Shred will get there in the end game, and the Z Druid, which is a support druid. The Z stands for 0 damage, meaning they just support the group. There will be support builds in the game, and I think the Z Druid is looking like one of the best ones currently. Season 1, we definitely need a better leveling experience. That would bring the Druid's rank even higher, and they need more speed, kind of like a Necro problem. And finally, my vote for what I think is going to be the best class in Diablo 4 on the launch is the Barbarian. But this is a little bit deceiving. The Barbarian is essentially getting carried by one build. They nerfed a single build here, which is Whirlwind. It would send Barbs tumbling down the tier list, and they're going to be in really bad shape. For leveling, I think they're just the worst. There is no great option. I have theory crafted Barbarian and played Barbarian more than any other class. It's just really bad. There's no real way to solve the problems either. You can get the Hoda power, which makes it tolerable. There's nothing for upheaval. There's really nothing for double swing. And you could just go vanilla Rend. But the problem with Rend is it's a frontal cone with almost no coverage, no AoE. You have to essentially be in melee range and skill shot everything, even with that. So it's really not good news for leveling for Barbarians. It doesn't get good until the end game. For speeds, they have Whirlwind, and once Whirlwind comes online, when you have your infinite shouts, Whirlwind destroys the game. It's going to be absolutely incredible, and it's got some incredible unique powers which are going to just dominate. I don't know if you guys heard Callie drinking water in the background, and she's thirsty. In the end game, I think they're going to be the best. If you have a fully powered, assuming full power, it's going to be like Pulverized Druid versus a Whirlwind Barbarian. But if you can get everything, if you can get the Grandfather and you can get the unique gloves, and you have your full shouts online, Whirlwind is just going to crush everything for you. Another thing is you're always dealing damage while you're moving. It does kind of suck that you have to get in there in melee range, but once you move away, bleeding damage is taking over, and you can dodge most of the things, and Barbarians are just very naturally tanky. I think just with Whirlwind alone, they'll get through the endgame no problem. In groups, they're probably the best. If you spec'd a Druid fully for groups, they could potentially outshine the Barbarian. But the great thing about the Barbarian is the Barbarian already takes all the group stuff mostly in their builds anyway. If I'm playing Whirlwind, I already take all the shouts and pump them up, and I'll give them to you all the time. So I can do massive damage while giving you a ton of utility, which is why the Barbarians are so great. For casuals, again, not following anything, the leveling experience is going to be very rough. Most of them will end up probably just going for spin to win Whirlwind, and that will be a great option for them. Once they slap on a couple of those powers, it will start to do work for them. And it's kind of hard to go wrong as you get further in the tree. When they take some of the ultimates, like Call of the Ancients, it will start to carry them, and they will feel very tanky, so they should do okay in Barbarians, with Barbarians after the leveling process. Overall, I'd put Barbarians at number 1. Their best build by far in the endgame, by a huge margin, is Whirlwind. And then Hoda's good for leveling along with Rend. We're trying to see if we can make the Thorns Barb work in the endgame. We'll have to theory craft that. And a support Barb, I think one day may definitely be a thing. For Season 1, we need a better leveling experience, and we need more options than Whirlwind. And may God have mercy on our souls if Whirlwind is nerfed on day 1. I don't know what we're going to do. And here is a quick summary sheet of how all the classes broke down in the end, if you'd like to take a moment and pause the video and reflect on it. Here's the overall rankings. Well, that concludes my Diablo 4 global launch class tier list. Anyone who has been in my channel for a long time has probably seen this video like 10 times over. So hopefully it has preserved the allure that we've had over.
Where's homeboy at?
Well on the rogue, and they're all just decent, fast, used for countless different applications. They offer a few different plans, so go check them out on the website and with the link in the description below. And in addition to that, they gave me this free code that you guys can redeem on the website to get 7-day free trial access to Awesome Remote Game, the biggest pack they offer, for free. So go check it out. Now let's get into the tier list. We start with the first category here, which is early game progression. So I think that this is the category that most people can reference the easiest, because, well, we were actually able to play it. Like, all of us could play in the open beta, we could play again in the server slam. So especially those people that played recently with the new balance updates, yeah, I imagine we're gonna see a lot of agreement here. So this is probably like pretty straightforward. I think that Rogue is by far the best in the early game. It's just really fast, especially with Twisting Blade, but not just that. There is other builds as well on the Rogue, and they're all just decent, fast, relatively powerful. And one big advantage that the Rogue has compared to other classes is that defenses don't really matter in the early game. So I expect this to continue at least until you hit Nightmare, at which point stuff probably gets harder and you have to, try to include more defenses, you have to slow down, be a bit more tactical, these kind of things. But for rushing through the campaign and all that, I think rogues are going to be the fastest. So this should be pretty obvious. Then we have Sorc and Necro. I think that these are relatively powerful classes. You have the Skellies, they got buffed later after they got nerfed before. So they're kind of in a good spot still. And yeah, all of the core skills kind of fine, especially Bone Spear is pretty good. You have Col's Explosion doing a lot of work. So generally Necro is okay. And I guess Sorc is just like almost anything you choose, it just works well as well. And they have Hydra, they have the Fireball enchant, they have Arc Lash, so there's tons of options where you can just like easy peasy go through the early game content. Then we have Druid. Generally, I actually found Druid to be much improved in the server slam compared to the open beta. So I did not have any issues leveling a Druid, especially once those companions come in. So this takes a few levels, but I think it's like something like level 15 or something. You can start speccing into companions, and if you play around them properly and then, do a good combo with your core skill, you can easily destroy almost everything. The main downside that the Druids have here are that they are relatively slow compared to the other classes, in my opinion. And then we have the Barb. Yeah, Barb is just like really slow start. You have the huge item scaling with all the weapons. You are relying on a lot of legendary aspects that make the class good. And this has not improved all too much, but it does pick up the pace relatively fast, especially after like level 15, level 20 or so. I would say Barbs are generally in a spot where you can already start working it out basically with, especially once the ultimates come in. You have good boss damage with the Ancients, for example, and it's gonna be okay from there. Then comes the end game potential. So here, it's pretty much upside down of the early game stuff, I would say, almost. So if you look at this, I think that Necro is gonna be the overall weakest class. It doesn't really seem like there are a lot of really good builds on Necro. So there is Bone Spear, which is gonna be very good. There might be something like Bone Spirit. And outside of that, I don't really have too much hope of seeing like super good like builds that Bone Spear cannot simply trump with almost a similar playstyle. So this is basically what I expect there. While a lot of other classes I think are gonna be overall solid with multiple builds. For example, Druid in particular. I think Druid is actually gonna be the overall strongest class. Druid has, first of all, by far the most builds. What I have here is not even complete, so we might actually add more to that, but they have so many crazy combinations, and honestly, a lot of them look very powerful. So, memes aside and all that, I think druids have so much crazy endgame stuff with their spirit boons, with their legendaries that convert skills into another category. So suddenly you open up more synergies and you can combine this with this and that, and suddenly you have like a super crazy build. I think this is what makes druids really, really strong, because they can just draw power from many different sources at once by converting skills, by making those kind of combinations. They have Grizzly Rage, which can be a really prominent tool in a lot of builds. Grizzly Rage is completely busted, and yeah, there's some other things like that. And on top of this, they are very tanky. They have great defensive passives, they have great defensive skills, they are just generally all around really powerful. And in my opinion, the main downside that druids have is the relatively low mobility, but this will also improve later on, depending on the build. Especially werewolf builds are gonna fly around the map. Then we have potentially like, you know, trample and trample reset type of builds with either trample slide or with pulverize. So there's a bunch of options that still make it a fast class, but not necessarily every build. But I think that in terms of raw power, just like, you know, walking in and one-shotting packs and these kind of things, being tanky, feeling good, I think druid is the number one. And we have the barb at the number 2. So originally I had barb as the number 1 class, but they have received some nerfs, especially for example damage reduction while fortified, and you know, some of the really powerful legendary aspects such as limitless rage, expectant, so something where you can build like a wombo combo and like one-shot the boss kind of thing, has been nerfed. So I think they're still really, really powerful in late game because of their insane item scaling. They have more legendary aspects, they have more stats, they have very powerful effects as well. But yeah, they are maybe slightly behind the druid. It's hard to say really, but I think that both of these classes are going to be like significantly, like noticeably stronger than the rest in the overall picture. And that being said, I think that barb is going to also have the overall best build in the game, which is, in my opinion, whirlwind. So this is on the side. Then we have rogue and sorg. So I gave them both a B here. Now, obviously, rogue is not going to seem very bad, especially early on, because of the early game progression power it has. But basically, as you progress, the content is going to get more difficult as you go, basically. And with more difficult content comes more value in crowd controls and in defenses. And while the crowd controls are very good on rogue, the defenses are not that easily built. So this is the main reason why I think the in-game potential on the rogue is definitely lower than some of the other classes. I think the damage is going to be just fine, the speed is going to be very good, but the defensive side is like something that holds the rogue back. Now that being said, defenses in an RPG are also very much reliant on your capacity to play the game. So obviously a very good player is not gonna have that many issues with rogue than someone who just doesn't have like the mechanical, like, you know, muscle memory and the coordination and the reactions that maybe someone else has. So this is what the rogue relies on. You are a very reactive class, or you just try to toy with the enemies, and if you do a mistake, you're gonna feel the consequences. Whereas, for example, on other classes, you just walk in and you do your thing and you don't really care. So this is kind of how that goes for druid and barb compared to something like rogue. And then we have sorg. I think sorg is going to be alright. It's going to be like an overall solid class with a bit of potential for some potentially busted builds based around enchantments. In particular, I think Firewall, Ball Lightning, those builds, maybe Meteor as well, they could definitely pop off really hard later, depending on how well you can make those synergies work, how much you can proc all those enchantments, and just completely like annihilate everything. But outside of those three, I don't have too much hope for the sorgs, but they're gonna be okay. So it's not like they're gonna be bad and they're gonna have trouble. I think they're gonna be just somewhere, you know, in the middle of the pack, basically. Not too tanky, not too powerful, but just fine everywhere. So this is what I expect. But on the other hand, there might not be that many builds that really pop off, and I also think that the power gap between builds inside the sorcerer class is going to be the biggest. So this probably also comes down to like how well you can optimize each of those builds. For example, you know, some of those really like lucky hit reliant builds such as Meteor and Ball Lightning that I mentioned, like once you kind of like reach the critical mass, I think they can like really go crazy and go like, you know, exponential scaling. But if you don't reach that point, then they might just feel undertuned. So there's kind of like a very like wide swing and power that you're gonna experience on a Sorc on some of those builds, if you don't play something like more straightforward, such as Chain Lightning, for example. So also something to keep in mind. And then we have the Necros, so I mentioned that I think they're not really very strong. I think that, yeah, they have like this one good build, which is Bone Spear, maybe some other stuff as well, but for the most part it's that. I don't really expect much of the skeletons. I don't think that scaly builds or minion builds that really rely on minions are going to be that great. But we'll see, maybe I'm surprised. But you can already feel that in the early levels that scaly just kind of like start slowing down and they don't really have many scaling mechanisms. So unless they get some huge power spikes from just leveling up basically later on, I kind of doubt it. Yeah, they're probably not that crazy. And yeah, the builds in general just don't really have that much really power. But to put all of this in-game stuff into perspective, I try to kind of amplify the differences between classes here. So I just think that both Barb and Druid are going to be, yeah, noticeably better overall once you're in the end game, once you're optimized and you have like a full build with the combo that you want, with good legendary aspects, with most of your Paragons built. So this is what we're looking at. And I think at that point, with like, you know, basically everything set up, you're gonna see that those two classes are going to be better. And then the other three are kind of like, you know, somewhere behind. So this is what I expect at least. Now this doesn't mean that none of these other classes can have like this one shining super powerful build. As I mentioned, the Bone Spear, or, you know, maybe on Rogue, you know, maybe Twisting Blades just, it turns out that crazy in these kind of things. Maybe something on Sorc just like completely pops off later with all the synergies. But as an overall class, this is the ranking, okay? Let's get into build diversity. So I think that Druid is like the absolute winner here with, yeah, lots of combinations. I already described that. They have definitely the most builds. Sorcerer as well. I made a lot of stuff here and there's definitely more to be discovered. So obviously like all these builds that I made are not the only builds that exist, and you can always make variations. Like, the entire game is built around choices. And this includes your skill tree, this includes your paragons. You can decide to, you know, add another utility choice, you can add more damage, more defense. There's always options to explore depending on what you need with your character right now. But in general, with like the different like variety of playstyles, I think that Druid really wins there. And then the Sorc is kind of like close after that. Then we have the Rogue, which is almost entirely built around the 5 core skills, one of which cannot really be used on its own. So you basically have 4 main skills with Twisting Blades, Flurry, Barrage and Penetrating Shot. But on the other hand, Rogue has lots and lots of situational tools, lots of choices you can make. You basically just need that one core skill and
What? A toxin from Apothecary Leiden? Very good. If I know Leiden, then this toxin will be quite effective against the Venture Company. The toxin is ready. All that remains is its delivery. You, adventurer, must make that delivery. The Venture Company must have a means of sending messages and light cargo between its headquarters and its operations in Stone Talon. It is likely a small
It's Stone
spider.
Talon, man.
Not big enough for a zeppelin, but perhaps for a flying machine. You must
Fucking
search
stupid.
The areas in Stone Talon under control of the Venture
Stone
Company and
Talon.
find
It's
this
Stone
spider,
Talon.
if it exists. If you find it, then place the toxin there. Place it and run.
Place it and run. Oh, I have a talent point.
The Galek Centaur in the Thousand Needles are protecting an artifact from the time of the Centaur's creation. We would like to retrieve it, but we require a phial of water from one of the Night Elves' moon wells. To collect the water, you will first need to obtain one of the phials carried by the Dryads near the Rainwood Retreat in the heart of Ashenvale Forest. There is a moon well near the western bank of the Falfaran River, south of the main road, where you can fill the phial.
Welcome to the Diablo 4 Tornado Druid Leveling Guide. This druid is a master of all powers of nature, conjuring tornadoes, landslides, lightning storms, transforming into a werewolf or werebear.
and you're just corpse exploding as you're moving along. There is no class in the game that has anything that's even close to how powerful this actually is in the game, especially in the earlier stages. So if you can get that class by far is an S tier. It's not even in any competition once you have that power. Now, again, that's kind of RNG. Are you going to get that power? Who knows? But if you don't get the power, the Necromancer with Blood Surge, again, is still very strong. There's basically a 40% multiplier. Game character in terms of speed, I would say Rogue is really high up there. The only reason why, again, Necromancer is here, the Blood Mist thing, I'm surprised that it honestly made it through the
Okay, it's time to do the Diablo 4 in-game class tier list. We're going to go over every class, we're going to put them on the list, and we're going to explain our reasoning. Now, I have played all the way through the in-game, so this is going to be my best impression so far of what I've seen. We're going to be starting with the Rogue today. Now, I do believe the Rogue is an S tier in a starting class, but today we're talking about in-game, so we're talking levels like 70, 80, 90, 100, like pushing towards in-game, Nightmare Sigils, fighting the bosses, World Tier 4, the very end of the game is effectively what we're looking at here. So while it would be S tier if we're talking about the starting, I do believe the Rogue slightly falls off. Once you start to get to level 100, you start pushing to the end. They're a little bit squishier on the high end. The damage is going to be a little bit less than some of the other classes that we're going to talk about in this game. However, they are still a very solid option. This is obviously not a bad class. It is arguable. It is the best class in all of Diablo 4 because of how fast you can accelerate from the beginning. A lot of the legendaries are very easy to get, like in some of the first acts, Act 2, Act 4, I think, is when you're going to have more or less all of the major legendary aspects that you need. Rogue has a lot of variety in terms of gameplay style, though some are definitely better than others. So in my opinion, Rogue is not only a fun class, it's not only good early, but going into the late game, it is still doable. It is an A tier, solid class going into in-game. So if you're thinking about playing Rogue currently, but as you watch this list progress, if it's making you shift your opinion, I would just say stick to Rogue. I actually don't think Rogue is going to be a bad decision at all in terms of when you're actually playing this game. So personally, I would vouch for Rogue, and I know Veldshot and other content creators I know they're playing Rogue would probably vouch for Rogue as well. With that being said, we're going to move on to the next class. This, in my mind, is going to be the Necromancer. I'm putting at B tier today. I have not been impressed with the Necromancer in damage output. Them down in terms of this tier. My reasoning, the people I know that have played Necromancer seem to have enjoyed it a lot. So it is an enjoyable class, but in terms of in-game performance, I think I'm going to put Necromancer at a B today. Now, when we go towards the Druid, for me, the Druid is going to be S tier. My reasoning behind this is not only am I heavily biased because I'm a Druid and I think the world sets around them. We're talking about early game, I'm going to drag it all the way down here to the bottom, okay? But we're talking in-game today. The reason is most of the legendary aspects, in fact, almost all of them, have some kind of synergy together. It also has the most variety in terms of build. So when you get to in-game, the amount of fun you're going to have by able to play different classes, in my opinion, is quite high with the Druid. You also have insane survivability, which also ramps your damage. Okay, the damage from the Druid is quite crazy at the end game, as well as the survivability gets quite crazy. The other part about the Druid is you get a significant amount of CC. So not only are you good in parties, but also when you're pushing things like Nightmare Sigils later in the game and you're needing to constantly CC down enemies so you don't get one shot, the Druid here are going to help a lot in the Nightmare dungeons, okay, significantly. Also, if you're playing as a dual partner, then you can revive somebody in things like the boss fights, whereas otherwise if you're playing solo, you can die. So having a Druid that's very tanky can also be your reviver if you're really trying to push through the boss fights or something and you're playing non-hardcore. I personally think Druid is actually definitely being slept on. I think it's going to be a more popular class than people realize. I think it's going to be a stronger class than people realize. And I think it's going to be a more fun class than people realize. I'm a giant shill for the Druid. I'm going to be putting a lot of Druid content out there. I think it's going to be very, very, very good. And we're going to move on to the next class today. Speaking of very, very good classes, I think the Barbarian is an S tier as well, primarily because if you look at things, you can even see this now in the build planner, there's 4 weapons. You see, I have 4 weapons here that you can apply to your build. The reason for this is because they have something called the Arsenal system. The Arsenal system is going to allow you to have more weapons than any other class. The reason this is important is because legendary aspects go on gloves, rings, amulets, and weapons for the offensive aspects. The offensive aspects are typically what gain you modifiers for damage. So having the potential of having more total modifiers, and yes, those legendary aspects will work even when you're not using that type of weapon, because you have 4 of them and you swap between them. Even when you're not using them, you're still getting the legendary aspect modifier. That's why we saw people like, I think his name was Alkaiser Senpai, that was doing like 300,000 damage during the level 25 beta with Barbarian, which was absolutely insane. He had all these modifiers. Whirlwind Barbarian seems to be, well, like it's going to be one of the best builds in the game. Now let's talk about Sorcerer. If you're playing hardcore, Sorcerer for me is S tier. The reason if you're playing hardcore it's S tier is because it has the only built-in cheat death mechanic out of any class, which is the enchantment on Flame Shield, which allows you to basically, if you take fatal damage, for that to be a cheat death effect. You become immune, you have a few seconds to get away, etc. Now, I'm going to drop it to A tier for anyone who's not playing hardcore, because I think at the in-game, Barb and Druid are better. This isn't like Rogue and Sorcerer are bad, it's just Druid and Barb are at another level of insanity, and Rogue and Sorcerer seem to be at another level above Necromancer. All of these are viable classes, all of them I've seen push content, all of them seem to be perfectly fine if that's what you want to play. But Sorcerer in particular, I think if you're hardcore, is arguably the best class in the entire game, so I would put it up here. If you're softcore, it's much more like a Rogue. Very good start, very strong, decent variety, very fun, thematically enjoyable. However, it's going to be at the higher levels, I think it's going to be maybe not as good as Barb and Druid, because Druid for the survivability and CC reasons we mentioned, Barbarian because of the insane modifier reasons we mentioned, and then Sorcerer is just going to be quite good at the end game because it just has good damage and good stats, etc. Whereas these other classes kind of have something unique going about them, if that makes sense. So the Rogue and Sorcerer are really sort of competing for each other at just a DPS type of class in the end game, and then you got Druid and Rogue offering something in addition. Necromancer actually is feels to me almost like the most supportive role out of all of them, except maybe the druid. So that's currently how I see it. I could be wrong on this list. I'm sure there are people that would debate me I'm wrong, and I'm not trying to say I'm the god or the arbiter of knowledge and truth in this day and age. This has just been my experience so far of playing the game. Now, I do have lots and lots of in-game druid footage. I will be putting that up within 24 hours on this channel. If you are interested in that, hit subscribe and hit the bell so you'll be notified when that comes out. As the druid footage, trust me, you're gonna want to see it. It's actually, I won't say it's a giant meme, but I'm gonna say that in my personal opinion, the only thing keeping Barbarian in the race for like the best class in-game right next to Druid is the fact that it has 4 weapons and 4 modifiers. Druid for me is the king of in-game. That's my opinion, but like I say, I'm a giant shill for the Druid. I have a lot of hair. I like my hairy boy. I'm a fan. I was looking at my analytics and there was a view bump of about 180 views in a minute, and I know that only happens one way. I'm either getting farmed by Asmongold or I'm being farmed by Quinn. I went and found, and it was Quinn this time, so I thought, let's see what his reaction is to my response to the Diablo 4 drama. So we're gonna have a big circle jerk of reaction drama going on here. Let's go. There's some pretty major Diablo 4 drama going on, and it actually involves your boy. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to first explain to you what the drama is. I'm going to explain to you how I'm involved in the drama.
Oh,
then I'm
shit.
going to explain to you his response, because they do have a response to this drama. Then I will address it and explain my response to the drama. So let's get you informed on what's going on at minimum for entertainment value. I love it because he knows he's about to get some memes out of the video, you know?
Belt, wrist, shoulders.
I
Hey,
am
what?
always at your service.
Yeah, give me 1 sec. I can. Yeah.
I think I figured out the problem with the grill.
Honored to
Okay,
meet you.
hold on.
Fair skies and strong winds.
This better be worth my time.
Gain honor random battlegrounds.
Goodbye
Yeah,
now.
that's good.
Till
Proving
we meet
solo.
again. Good luck out there.
Figured out what's wrong.
You're gonna have to get Joseph to look at it or something. I don't know. Random battlegrounds. Solo shuffle.
I shall test your mettle. Do you wish to prove yourself worthy of Tyr's invention? Then join me once more for a new challenge. This trial is unorthodox, but required if you are to have the full power of the engine available. Head to Tyrhold and reattune the energies of the core.
Look at all these ancient Titan relics scattered about. Never pass up an opportunity to study the past.
Tyrhold has fallen under siege. Eliminate the invading forces.
It's too far away. I'm out of range.
Nelly deals for a friend of the Grumbles, like you. I have many, many wares. Farewell, friend of the Grumbles. Shoes and rope. May your feet find good trails.
Oh. Kids have better gear than me, and I'm doing better than them, man. Uh. That's one.
Tierhold has fallen under siege. Eliminate the invading forces.
It's locked.
Okay, can tap target seems bad. So I'm just gonna blind. Still can't tap target. Not sure why. Game's bad. Literally spamming the tab button, nothing happens.
I need to get closer. It's too far away.
Tierhold is safe once again.
Maximum attunement reached. You have restored the power core to its original state. Return to Valdrakken, adventurer. It is time to insert this new core into the engine of innovation.
It's fine, I gotta get my enchant on here.
Many deals for a friend of the Grummles, like you.
Well then, let us proceed. You will do well.
Have you come for a challenge? Stand. Approach the engine of innovation when you are ready to begin. Well done. The modified core has been accepted. You have proven yourself worthy. And with that, my purpose is at an end. Though if you should ever need my assistance, you may call upon me directly.
All right.
That he knows what's going on here. I see you. Various streamers got early access to Diablo 4. Confirmed on Rex's stream, Blizz gave early access, etc. He got to level 59, yada yada yada. People were saying there's an NDA that will be lifted on the 30th. And if you scroll down enough, there's going to be people getting mad about the fact that some people got it early. This wasn't really as big of a deal until they announced something else, which was the race to level 100
I didn't know about it.
hardcore. You see, they actually just announced an actual prize for being able to hit level 100 on hardcore as one of the first 1,000 people to do it. They're going to have a big statue they're going to build. That big statue is going to have all the names of the people that hit level 100 hardcore on it first. They're going to put that on the statue, and this is a prize, a sentiment. This has happened in other game statues. I think EVE Online was one of the ones that this happened in. Subnautica, I think they put all the founders in a statue and sunk to the bottom of the ocean. To give you an idea, this is something some games do. It's to drive hype, it's to drive sales. Now, how am I involved in this? I have early access. Okay.
What the fuck? Wait,
here we go.
Fuck Diablo Immortal.
Yeah, baby.
Wait, the fuck? They just who doesn't? Yazzie TV.
A lot of people got it, bro. Like 30.
Every fucking Icy Veins guy. All of Diablo. They're so stupid. Why would they give it to all the god gamers? Like this guy. Why would they give it to?
I don't know why they won't give it to you, Quinn. Maybe marketing or PR or legal was like, this is probably a bad idea. I would have to guess that's what happened.
I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it. Baby.
Why is my FPS dog water? Why is everyone dead? Oh man, y'all blow ween, huh? Don't worry, Daddy's here. Too aggro there. Daddy came and destroyed the world.
Like the literal number one worst people to give the game to. It's like, yeah, let me give our game to someone that's gonna like engineer all the fun out of it, right?
I mean, to be fair, I'm a little bit more about the drama stuff. I don't know if he's talking about me as like the worst possible person to have the game. I feel like these type of videos he watching right now are really more of my bread and butter, but all right, fair enough.
Let's engineer all the fun out of the game and make the most OP single button shit possible. And then so they can make guides and make everyone else not enjoy the game. Like let's do that. Let's give the game out to all the people who are gonna engineer the fun out of the game as fast as possible.
You know, okay, I will agree with one point, which is that I would actually prefer this wasn't a thing over a thing, because what it effectively does is it's an arms race now. It's like data mining in games. Like, I've been part of content creation programs that strictly prohibited data mining, but as soon as one content creator did it, then everyone would do it, because now you have to, because it's an arms race when it comes to the media. That's what it always is. That's why the media back in the day when it was the TV would be sensationalist over the top of like, war today, everyone's gonna die, and then YouTube has become the clickbait fest like me myself I do with this video, because then clicked on it. So it's the arms race of media. It is cancer. I'm not going to argue it, but I think we all fall prey to the cancer ourselves. I think, not to try to be in disagreements here, but I mean, I think it's fair enough to say, Quinn, didn't you spend like 8 times the amount of money in Immortal even I did a year later? I still haven't even spent remotely close to the same amount of money because it was good content. I think we all kind of like do the same thing, and probably would have taken the early access to it as available. I was at a funeral when I got the information that there was early access, and so I was like 3 days late. Okay, I was out of state even. So when I came back, I had to really get going because nobody knew the early access was coming. Everyone was caught by surprise. I think multiple people weren't able to start for like any day. We had no idea this was coming. So when it came out and everyone's go, 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 you better believe your boy's going to do it, because at this point it is a YouTube arms race and I am trying to win the war. So let's go. So I have
AKA streamers and YouTubers like that. Like, they give it to Kotaku guy. Give it to IGN, not these motherfuckers.
Innate advantage for this race. Okay, about that, there was actually a media PR review that they did give the game to. So to be fair, IGN and PC Gamer and those people actually did get the game before me, even a long time before. And the actual very first game play that went out, the faux in-game, by the way, way longer. It was for months. Way longer than the one we played, the in-game, was to in-game players, not content creators. People that have played Diablo games long enough. There was no special treatment for content creators to get into it. It was everybody. So tons of people that were playing every game, D2, D3, yes, even Diablo Immortal. People that had played hours and hours and hours into the game got access to it. That's why there's plenty of random people that know just as much, if not arguably more than some of us. To be fair, it was an older patch. It is out of date. The balances are different. So it's probably irrelevant information. I won't debate at that point, and I'll give that ground, no doubt. If I wanted to go for the race, let me make it perfectly clear right now. I'm not doing hardcore. I don't give a fuck about the name on a statue. What I want is YouTube views. How I'm going to get what I want is by putting builds, tips, guides, and sharing all of the information I have available. So any of the things I got from early access, I put in the videos, I put in the written down for leveling guides, everything that I have, the purpose of it for
Watching you. guess. Q popped when I was AFK. Oh, nope, it didn't pop. Wow.
For me at least, is to leverage it into you guys having some useful information. That way you choose to watch me. That is how I am choosing to do this. If I was going to be doing hardcore, however, and I'll only speak for myself, but I doubt we see a single content creator who, let's say, is eligible for this that will actually accept this prize. I actually don't think there's going to be a single content creator who will deny that what we have is considered an advantage.
I can think of a couple. I can certainly think of a couple. I mean, it says only speculation. To be fair, now they've been called out publicly, maybe they won't, right? But I mean, if people are willing to cheat and bot and break the rules, you think, and to claim leaderboard positions in like previous games.
Okay, to be fair, I don't know all the Diablo drama. Like, I didn't play Diablo 3 as much. You know, I have a few hundred hours in it back just because I played MMOs a lot. I was probably playing RuneScape during the time all these guys were doing Diablo. I don't really know the Diablo drama. So the other content creators, yeah, that's probably fair. I don't know if the people claim it or not. I'm just looking at from the obvious, like, PRL of, I think it would be stupid as a YouTuber and a public person to try to claim a prize in front of a bunch of angry people. I mean, that's like, it's like going up on stage to take a trophy, you know, when you're an adult and you just somehow scammed your way. You know that movie, The Spelling Bee, where it's like you're literally an adult competing against children and he like wants to take the prize in front of the angry parents? That's literally this situation. I don't see why anyone would ever do that.
Are you kidding me? Of course they could cheat. Like, I mean, if they're willing to like literally bot, unironically, 24/7.
Maybe so. I could be wrong.
It is my last dying wish to watch you play again. Please.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Die, pussy. Hurry up and die. Can you? Why the fuck that little old cunt? Fuck off.
Jesus.
Okay. Anyway. I mean, if people are willing to literally break TOS and literally...
Yeah, and here we have Quinn, acting like his streamer privilege isn't the biggest unfair advantage in the whole game.
Shut the fuck up. Okay, shut the fuck up. Okay, let me continue. Are you gonna play another one? Are you gonna do another one? Or are we good?
Probably one more. There's always gonna be one more.
Am I good now?
You're bathing the extra one. It's gonna come now anyway.
If these motherfuckers are willing to literally cheat...
Basic chat.
You don't even have new ones and you're just playing old ones. Okay. If people are willing to cheat and break the rules...
Oh my god. The Clown Fiesta of Mike, Mute, and Donos. We're gonna get through this video eventually.
Okay. Here we go. Okay. Alright, now for the 15th fucking time. The 15th fucking time. The 15th. Okay, if people are willing to literally cheat, use fucking bots to just get on top of the Diablo 3 leaderboard, okay, what makes you not, like, what, are you kidding me? If they felt they could get away with getting an advantage and then cheating in a competition, of course they fucking would.
I mean, okay, to be fair, I didn't say 100% nobody ever. I said my best guess. All right, I'm estimating here. If someone goes out, announces they're going for it, takes the advantage, puts their name on the statue, like, it's going to be the name on the statue that has the most gum stuck to it. Like, I'm just saying, it would be stupid to do it. I'm not saying I can 100% predict every person on the planet. I just don't see why anyone would, is really my point, all right, to be clear.
Why is every time if? Why is every time if? Why is every time if? Okay.
I myself will say it freely.
Pay to unban. Pay to unban. Right here.
It's such a
pay to
fiesta,
unban.
bro.
Why haven't told?
In fact, I think it's a giant L take when people say we don't have an advantage. I myself will say it freely. We have a massive advantage. In fact, I think it's a giant L take when people say we don't have an advantage, because the advantage is real life knowledge. That's
fucking L take. You heard it here from Diablo Immortal himself. Okay, it's a fucking L take, brother.
In fact, we have an advantage. That's why you guys are going to watch the YouTube, because we know what we're talking about because we got in early. So I think it's obvious in a lot of ways. If we get more views because we have an advantage and we're able to make the guide, that is obviously, there's a reason you're clicking to choose and watch the video, because you know that we have had time in the game more than other people. So it would be dumb of me to deny that advantage. Now, if you want to know Blizzard's take on this. Rod Ferguson did a tweet saying,
look at this.
our
This is
accounts
so
are being deleted. See you guys in 6 days. He's talking to us, the early reviewers. Can you talk about the same creators competing in a race event you guys announced? This gives an extreme unfair advantage. This is not a new season. Setting a precedent of unfair advantages is not a good look. Rod's response is, how does deleting all their progress and making them start at the same time as everyone else give them an
Pull him
unfair...
out. Destroy him. Destroy him, Diablo Immortal. Get him right. This guy's a Diablo Immortal enjoyer. They're probably the biggest #1 Diablo.
I think the correct terminology is Diablo Immortal farmer.
They're probably the biggest #1 Diablo Immortal content creator. That's who told him right now, Jack.
That's
all right.
true.
Destroy him.
Advantage. In my opinion, this is probably an LT. I don't have
L-Take, Rod! You heard it from Diablo Immortal. No. Fucking L-Take!
Problem.
It is.
Freely admitting this gives us a knowledge-based advantage.
Probably an L-Take. It is an L-Take.
You know what? He's right. I'll upgrade it to it's definitely an L-Take because I think it's obvious. I say this in the video, but it is obvious. Fairly obvious. So for me, Blizzard's response, I think, is lacking a little bit of like being able to admit what's going on. With that being said, as far as myself goes, let me give you my response and my personal take on this. I myself, like have I said before, do not care remotely about this prize. I don't, okay? I don't care if my name's on a statue. I also am not playing hardcore because I want to make videos. My primary focus is as a YouTuber, building my YouTube, and what I want is knowledge. If somebody was going to be mad who's a smaller creator, it's like, it's not fair, you got advantage to YouTube. Sure,
It's still shit. I still think it's shit, though. Do you not think it's shit? Like, I still, of course, if you've got the advantage. The thing is, if I had access to the game, I wouldn't have played it. I still think it's shit. It would have been so much better if the YouTubers just had to play the game at the same time as everyone else.
I mean, I kind of get his point with this, because to be honest, like, none of us knew the early access was coming. Like, I was out of state when it happened. I noticed on my phone, I'm days late, and I'm realizing, like, this is a big deal. Like, you basically have to do it if you want to be a YouTuber. So not only did it put, like, extra pressure on me, where I have to spend 20 hours a day to catch up and all that, which is insane, but it increases the ever, you know, army meaty arms race. Like, it makes it more difficult. So there's an argument to be made for that. I also think there's probably a fair argument to be made that, like, the excitement of the game is the most exciting when everyone is clueless. But I also think that, like, those days are probably sold. Like, it's an ARPG also. Everyone's going to min-max. The whole genre is sort of about min-maxing the very second you go into the game. I personally hate that style, but it's what the people want, and I can literally see it in the analytic data, what people are searching for, and that's what the people are saying. It's not like what I want to do is make build guides. I've actually said for years, covering all the different games I do, I hate making guides. Like, I actually do. I would way rather just play the fucking game and then have people enjoy watching it. But guess that's not why people find your channel. Like, they're not going to type in redheaded dude playing the game. Like, that's just not going to happen. Like, they're going to ask, what is the best druid build? How do I extract legendary aspects? Like, that's what's going to happen. And so if that's what's required in order to get the people to your channel, that is what I'm going to do. And maybe it's unfortunate. Sure, I'm not going to argue with them. I would have rather it not be a thing as well. But I also think those days are over, just like the days of no battle passing in the game, just like the days of early access, etc. And if the argument is going to be that, hey, well, if it's a bad thing, then don't do it, or you're contributing to the problem, Quinn himself would have been happy to take his own advice instead of spending $25,000 or whatever it was on Immortal while shitting on the game. So I think it's very obvious that everyone will do what is required in order to have your own media have its best interests. And neither will I fault people for doing that, because God bless America. All right, let's go.
And the fucking Twitch streamers played the game and everyone just theory-crafted and made their own builds. Right? Not this shit where, oh, let's just give out this fucking early game. So let's let everyone completely dismantle our game before it comes out and figure everything out. So that whole fun mystery, like the whole mystery and intrigue and all like that part where everyone has to discover it. No, they don't need to do that. They'll be clear-cut, one-to-one, exact, step-by-step guides telling people exactly what to do. That's like, bro.
Yep.
Why?
Because the people want it. Because they want it.
Running, marketing, and Blizzard that thought this is a good idea. Who?
Conversation. I'll agree with you. I got an advantage. I'm going to take it because I'm a YouTuber and that's what I do. All right, that's how it works. It's in the business. I've been coming Diablo games for over a year at this point. they put me in because I've got like 50 million views on Diablo. So I've earned my spot as far as the early access goes, all right? Different conversation. We're talking about in-game advantage, all right? I'm not even trying to claim this because I'm not doing hardcore. And even if I was, I'm not going to claim this. And I don't think any of the people that are doing hardcore would claim this either.
They would.
Like, it seems very obvious that if you go out there and announce you're doing a world...
If they didn't get called out, they would. You kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Well, yeah, but I didn't say if they don't get called out, they're not going to do it. I said because they're going to get called out. So you can't say that, oh, well, of course they will, and then literally only be, oh, well, except because of the only fucking thing I mentioned. Like, come on.
They would. Are you kidding me? Dude, they considering half the, like, I mean, we're talking about literal people botters. Like, they're platforming the Diablo 3 botters. They absolutely fucking would. Now, they probably won't do it. I mean, yeah, Woody Joe draws the line at botting. Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Getting a slight, not a slight advantage, getting an advantage from playing the game early. I mean, is he gonna? I mean, if you bot, you're gonna absolutely do that, right? Now they probably won't because they're getting called out, but if they thought they could get away with it,
again, I don't know anything about Diablo drama. I don't know anything about anybody that bought it or anything. I'm new-ish to the PC side of the community here, okay? So I don't know. This seems like some bad blood between some people. There's something going on, and he's talking about somebody specifically. I can see the chat naming one person. I'm not going to get involved because I don't know what's going on, but like I think my logic was pretty clear. People aren't going to do it because they are going to get called out. In fact, he literally says, well, unless because they're going to get called. Well, that's what I'm saying. So like I'm not going to dispute his point because I don't think he's arguing with me. I think he thinks he's arguing with me, but he's really not. It's first hardcore. You get the world's first hardcore. You get 1,000 hardcore or something, and then you're like, I did it. Like everyone's gonna roast you. I think that part's pretty obvious, and for that reason, I think most of the creators, myself included, are just focusing on whatever it is they want their content to be about. We're content creators. We're creating content.
Expose them! Blizzard needs to tell us, dude. Blizzard, why haven't the people got early access and they're not saying they got early access and they actually are just playing, right? Like, what do you guys think?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I don't know why you wouldn't say you got early access. Like, it's free real estate as far as I'm concerned. It's one of my best videos. People are going to click on it, and even the people that don't like you are still helping you. I mean, you know this, bro. You look right now, literally, there's somebody that's posting a clown on your face. So, like, my concept is, like, it's kind of the same thing. Like, we're going to talk about it. I don't know why somebody wouldn't announce that they're in it. I would think it's free real estate, and if they're hiding it or something, I don't get what difference it makes if we all, like, I got early access. The only difference is I said I got early access. Exposing them, I don't know who these people are. I only ran into 2 people in game literally the entire time because there's so few people on the server that, like, pretty much we all have our own instance as far as I could tell. So I actually don't know all the people that made it. I would be curious to know myself because I was told there was basically 30 people, and I would like to know if that's accurate.
What do you guys think? Let me actually ban this guy permanently. Go send for a bot or more. Go send for go send. Yeah, go. Why do you say Gavin is a bit of play? Let me while you're at it. Why do you say Gavin is a bit of play? Okay, oh yeah, for sure, Gavin is a bit of play, dude.
So that's my take on it. I see it through the YouTuber lens of effectively. I only really care about making YouTube videos. I'm not doing hardcore anyway. If they come up with any type of prize, race, or anything for softcore like I'm doing, I happily will announce it right now no matter what it is. I won't take it because I don't fucking care. Because unless their prize is going to be guaranteeing that I get 100,000 subscribers out of nowhere on YouTube, Let
me get this guy's all. Yeah. It's a ban invader, I'm guessing. Let's see, check if it's a ban invader. I'm gonna ban him first. I'm gonna check if it's a ban invader afterwards.
Fucking gunshot.
Yeah, account created 30 minutes ago. He's called Liar69, dude. Congrats. You going for the ban speedrun, dude.
Don't care. All right. Personally, I don't care. I live in Alaska. Some statue in the middle of buttfuck nowhere that I'm not going to ever see. Doesn't matter to me. I'm in a cabin in the woods in Alaska. I'm never going to see this thing. Why would I? I doubt anyone's even going to see my name on it, to be honest with you. So, don't care remotely about the competition. Some people might really care. There's obviously people on Reddit.
Diablo Immortal's based. This video, dude, he did this whole thing without a single cut and perfectly transitioned in a way that almost looked like he was editing it in like a post-processing. But I think he just did the whole thing live. I'm really...
It's actually true. And if I didn't have to go let my cat in previously, then this video would have been done in one cut also.
Impressed.
They care. They're getting very angry
this guy's
about
talented.
Kind of hard sometimes for me to take Reddit's opinion serious.
He's
because
talented.
most of their posts are literally them hating themselves and posting about how their subreddit's dog shit, which it is. So, in my personal opinion, Yeah, there's a lot of people getting mad, but there's a lot of people getting mad at a lot of things. So I've since lost the ability to understand what the community actually thinks, because everyone gets mad at literally everything anymore. And I'm trying my best to go out here and be reasonable, give base takes, tell you exactly what I think. Be like, yes, we have an event.
But why don't you be based in the fact and say that you think it's a bad idea that they gave a bunch of fucking theory crafters the game early so that they could theory craft the fuck out of the game before the game comes out, so then when the game comes out, it's already sold before everyone's actually played the game. Like, what you should be, that should be the base take, though. Right? He didn't.
I was talking. Yeah, okay, that's probably fair. I was actually focused more on the hardcore side of the drama, to be fair. I was thinking about the Twitter post and thinking about talking about that. To be right, though, like I did kind of say it in this video earlier, but I guess I'll say it again for the sake of being fair. Yeah, I actually do think it would be better if no one had any early access at all. I would probably prefer that world. Like I said, it puts a lot of extra stress, all right, in terms of it, it probably would make the game better in terms of overall enjoyment for everybody. So, yeah, that's fine. I'd be fine with it either way. But if they're going to dump the floodgates and all these content creators are going to go rowing in, then yeah, sure, I'm in there too. That's kind of that's my feeling on the matter. Yes, I have an in-game advantage. Yes, I will claim my YouTube advantage. No, I will not claim any of my in-game advantage, because what I care about is YouTube, and I'm not doing hardcore anyway. So if you want to have...
He's saying it doesn't matter for the prize. I'm saying it's just bad in general. I'm saying even if the prize, like the second I found out that all...
The Druid is a savage shapeshifter, fluidly transforming between forms of a powerful bear or a vicious werewolf, all while commanding the power of earth, wind, and storm, unleashing nature's wrath to a devastating effect. They have a well-rounded set of melee and range skills that specialize in dealing damage of physical, lightning, and poison. All of these are fueled by spirit, which is generated from basic skills. Now, when it comes to strengths, the Druid has a few. They do have decent burst damage, especially when spamming skills like Landslide against stunned enemies, but unfortunately, this isn't always sustainable due to the high spirit cost.